Bună ziua, bine ați venit la un nou episod de podcast de la Student Consulting. Astăzi l-am alături de mine pe Kevin Murray din Statele Unite, de la Universitatea Drexel. Este o universitate specială cu o istorie îndelungată, unde avem elevi care aplică în fiecare an și care sunt admiși. Unii dintre ei obțin și burse competitive sau ajutor financiar. Și l-am adus astăzi pe Kevin pentru a ne povesti despre care sunt particularitățile sistemului educațional american, să înțelegem ce înseamnă procesul de admitere în Statele Unite. În procesul de admitere, să știm, sportul e necesar, nu e necesar la astfel de universități. Vom discuta despre cum poți primi ajutor financiar parțial sau bursă academică care să poată acoperi toate costurile de la universitate și, de asemenea, care sunt oportunitățile de job atât în campus, dar și oportunitățile după finalizarea acestei universități. Mai mult de atât, vreau să menționez că Universitatea Drexel este printre puținele universități din state, sunt sub 10 universități în Statele Unite, care oferă un program de co-op, adică un program de practică full în perioada anului școlar, prin care tu poți să pleci deja cu experiență. Așadar, este o universitate cu particularități care te poate interesa și poate că vei deveni student acolo și îți va fi folositoare această întâlnire. Hello, Kevin. Thank you for being today with us.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Kevin, I would like to ask you, what can you tell me about the educational system in United States, because it's totally different from Europe. What are the particularities of this educational system?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that stand out within the American education system that a lot of international students, including European and Romanian students, are very interested in. The first is the opportunity to explore a wide variety of academic offerings. Students can take multiple majors, they can have multiple minors, they can take classes in things that have nothing to do with their study or their area of discipline, allowing them to have really unique and personalized fields of study, as opposed to committing right away to exactly what you're going to study right out of high school or secondary school. In many other international higher education systems, the US system allows students to be undeclared and study a whole bunch of different things before they figure out what they really would like to do. The other thing that is very unique about the US educational model is its focus on professional learning and getting professional experience. No matter what type of university you may be interested in attending, they'll give you opportunities to have extensive professional opportunities while you're still in school to help you figure out what you like and don't like. That's not something that always exists in education systems across the world, but is something that the United States has done really, really well for a long time. The final piece of the education system in the US that really helps differentiate it from others across the world is how well it integrates academics with social life and learning, and with other things like sports and activities and other professional and personal development opportunities. Universities in the US are really built to help create a full adult, from their academic learning in the classroom to training them as a professional to helping them be a better person. And that's something that I think a lot of students find is something that's a big positive about a US university, is that holistic training that we do on teaching people to be the best adults they can possibly be.
Oh, thank you. So I understand that I'm hearing that it's a system that helps you to become the best version of yourself, or also both on the professional part and also on the personal one. I'm very interested about the major and the minor. So you said that the first particularity is about the fact that they can have a major and a minor, and also they can apply as undeclared. So what does it mean this, that if I want to apply, let's say I want to study business, I'm interested in business, but I would like to study as well, maybe, I don't know, engineering or psychology, then I can do so. Meaning, if I will study major in psychology, major in business, and minor in psychology or maybe engineering, so it's possible like to have like two totally separate domains to study.
Absolutely, yes, and that's something that I really liked about my time studying at Drexel as a student, is that you get to meet people who have such different interests. You know, a student may want to go into business because they've heard about experiences from their family. But they also love a language and want to learn how to speak Spanish, or they love math, so they want to spend more time studying math than the typical business student. And the US university system allows a lot of students to have that ultimate flexibility. You'll find different types of universities in the United States, including liberal arts universities, where you may never declare a major the entire time that you're there, and you're just there to study things that you're interested in. Some other universities, including Drexel, most of our students do declare a major coming right into the university, but when they're here, they're able to explore things from architecture to engineering to photography to business to psychology and so much more. So the system is built to allow folks to have a primary focus in something that will hopefully be their career, but also allow them to take academic coursework in other things that fascinate them.
And when I should declare my major, if I apply as an undeclared student, so I don't know exactly what I want to study, so I will choose during the university. How is going to be the structure of the first year? What am I going to study, and how am I going to choose those subjects? And when is the deadline to decide what I want to do further?
Yeah, great question. So the way that it works is that students who are coming into a university as an undeclared student, meaning that they've not yet picked their major, they'll spend time during their first year with their academic advisor, who sort of serves like a counselor for that student to help them in their academic life at the university. They might tell their advisor, hey, I'm interested in math, but I don't really know that I want to do engineering. I like numbers, but I don't really want to be an accountant. So you talk a little bit about the things that you're interested in learning, and then your advisor will help you take classes that will expose you to little different pieces of different fields and majors, so you can figure out what you like and don't like. The best way to figure out whether you like something in the academic space is to take a class in that space. If you take an accounting class, you're going to figure out if you like accounting or not. So being able to spend that first year really exploring a wide variety of different academic studies is a great way to figure out what you like and don't like. Most undeclared students will declare their major by the end of their first year. Depending on the university, they might have to do that. Sometimes it's required that you declare a major. Sometimes students are able to stay undeclared for a much longer time in their career. It just depends on the university. But generally, most students who are undeclared will do so, will declare within their first year, so they can start taking classes relevant to their major in their second year.
So it's a very flexible system, and it's very well structured for a teenager who has now 18 or 17 years old and doesn't know exactly what to do now in life, and also the fact that you give them the perspective to test some classes and to see then what is something that I like, because nowadays with the AI, with what is happening with AI, like it's very important to have different skills, like mainly to build your skills, and also then to have like a variety of maybe of knowledge. This is going to be helpful. And regarding the academic advisor that you mentioned, so the academic advisor is available for every student who is arriving to Drexel starting in the first year, and is there to help them to understand how should I choose the electives, all the courses that they have to do. And also I want to ask you, because I heard from another student from another university, they told me that, look, I'm now in the 4th year, she was saying, then I've taken also classes of cooking or classes of, I don't know, culinary arts. So it is possible if I will do a major in business and a minor in psychology or engineering, as I've told at the beginning, if I have a curiosity over the year, can I take a class in something totally different than the the two ones that I have already, major and minor?
Yeah, absolutely. So the academic advisor is actually more than just somebody to help you pick your classes. They also help access all of the resources at US universities, including places like Drexel. A lot of US schools are very large. We have thousands of students, sometimes tens of thousands of students. We have thousands of faculty and staff, which also means that it can be it can be scary trying to figure out all of the resources that are available to you, but students pay a lot for those resources. So your academic advisor is helping you to figure out what you have access to and what can help you be a better student. When it comes to taking classes that have nothing to do with your field of study, I was a business major in undergrad, and in my senior year, I took a wine of the world's class. So we tasted different wines from all around the world. We talked about the geopolitical impacts of wine and the economy of wine. We talked about the environmental impacts of wine. Had nothing to do with my major, but was just a class that sounded very interesting, and I decided to take it. So yes, that's another advantage of universities that are larger and have a wider breadth of academic offerings, is that students can take things that have nothing to do with what they're studying for their major, but just sound like fun.
And Kevin, what happens if I'm coming to you? So I've chosen at this moment the business major and psychology minor. What is happening if after the first year I say, this is not for me, I want to study, to switch on engineering or to another subject? It is possible at the beginning of the second year?
Definitely, yes. And that's another advantage of US universities. You're not stuck in one lane when you enter a US university. You can change majors, you can change colleges within the university. Some students will transfer to different colleges because they found a better fit for them elsewhere. You can absolutely change your major during your first and second year, even sometimes in your third year, depending upon what the change is. Obviously, if you're going from an engineer to a dance major, that's going to be a little bit trickier to change. But going from majors that are relatively similar is very easy to change throughout your academic career, and is a good thing to do, because you're, like I said, spending a lot of time and energy and money on your education. So you better study something that you enjoy and that you think is going to be beneficial for your life.
Mm-hmm. It sounds a wise choice to study in such an environment, academic environment. It helps you to be flexible in your choices. You said, Kevin, that that another focus here, like why should you study in United States? It's about the focus on professional learning, and that you train students to be professionals. How do you do this? What kind of instruments do you have, and how is happening this process?
Sure. I think there's a few things. So the first piece of our professional training for students is helping them build transferable skills that can be useful no matter their job. You mentioned earlier the creation of AI and its explosion into the world. That's something that requires the understanding of AI, and the use of that in a professional setting requires a variety of different skills. For example, right? You have to understand technology, you have to understand people. So being able to help students learn transferable skills from working with each other to presenting to technology skills around spreadsheets and writing and all of those sort of things, I think is number one, so that you can go into a work environment and be a competent person no matter what your bosses ask you to do. The second piece is giving students, and sometimes forcing students, to have professional experiences where maybe they might be uncomfortable, but you learn a lot in uncomfortable situations. You may work a job when you're 19 or 20 years old, where you have to put on a suit and tie every day to go to work. And that can be scary for some students, but it really helps. But it really helps you learn how to be a competent adult, and helps you figure out what you like and don't like professionally. And then the last thing that I think a lot of US universities do a really good job of is integrating their professional learning within the classroom. So when you go to a class at Drexel, you'll often have guest speakers who work in that industry who can tell you about what's actually happening in the field right now. Or maybe your professor is what's called an adjunct professor, where they actually work in the field that they're teaching in at the moment. So they're not a full-time faculty member, they work in the field and they come and give their insights to students. So I think that's the other thing that we do really well, is integrate professionals into the academic space so that you can learn from folks who are actually doing the work in the field today.
What is the rate, discussing about employment, because in the end this helps the student to get employed. What is the rate of employment at your school for the internationals?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so while they're in school, our employment rate for international students is very high through our co-op program. It's right around 95%. So as long as you do what you're supposed to do, there is a job available for you, whether that's here in the US or somewhere across the world through our co-op program. Our students, including many students from Romania, have had a lot of success in our co-op program because despite the visa rules around working in the US, because the co-op program is an academic program first, that allows students to work for 1 full year, full time, while they're in school here in the US and get paid to do it. Because it's built in through your academic schedule. So that's a great opportunity while you're in school. For postgraduate opportunities, our employment rate across the board, across for all students, is right around 96%, 1 year post-graduation. Some of those students are in graduate school instead, but that's about our numbers total. And that's something that we're really proud of. More than 9 out of 10 of our students are finding positions that they're interested in. Our international students also find a lot of success in employment. Their employment rate is right around 90%. That number was from 2 years ago, which is how we keep our data. But I think a big reason why our employment for international students is higher than a lot of other universities in the US is thanks to our co-op program. Our international students are graduating with full-time work experience in their field, which not a lot of universities can offer to their students. So that's something that really helps our students stand out.
I saw that in the application process, when they are applying, they have the possibility to choose this co-op. So the co-op program, as I understand, is a full-time job for the student within the program. So during my 4-year or 5-year studies, I will have a 1 year, for sure, a 1 year co-op internship. It's more than an internship. This is paid. This is a paid job. During the it's a paid job. Okay, I want to ask you here, because I heard from the students, because you know that we have several Romanian students who graduated already, or students who are already in the school, and when we ask them, okay, how much is paid usually the co-op, they said that, look, in general, they said that this depends on how is your CV, the grades, your extracurriculars, how you do with the interview, if you want to go in co-op to like a very good a very good company, then this depends on your CV, but as well might depend on if you are international or American. So what can you tell us about this, if there are differentiations between them, and in the range of payment also? I would like to know, because I'm asking you about the payment because there are students who they are considering coming to you, maybe they receive financial aid, the partial part, and they want to understand, how can I supply my need? I heard some students who mentioned, yeah, but I know from other people that I can come to you and I can pay the accommodation, there's a room and board, so, which is accommodation and meals. I can pay everything from my co-op, which I know that it's not so true. So I would like you to tell me your opinion here.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think it's a really important one to set good expectations about payment for co-op, because yes, last year, 87% of our co-op jobs were paid. So almost all of them are paid, especially in industries that are very popular with Romanian students, like business and engineering and the sciences and computing. Pretty much all of those positions are paid. The average salary on co-op is right around $20 per hour. So you earn about $20,000 pre-tax while you're on co-op for the 6 months that the co-ops last. So that is
Kevin, you said for the 6 months, or
yes,
for the 6 months, $20,000?
Yes, that's the average. So some students will earn more, some students will earn less. So that amount of money is very helpful for students to afford their cost of living, other expenses coming home for the holidays, things like that. But we set very good expectations that should not be counted on to help you pay your tuition, because that can help cover a lot of your costs of being a student, but it cannot cover all of your costs. So while it is great to get paid, and that's obviously a huge benefit to the co-op program, it's often and frequently not enough to cover the full cost of your other expenses. So it's really important for students to understand that while the co-op is an amazing program and is a great benefit for them and a good way to earn money while you're in school, most students are not earning enough money to pay all of their expenses just through their co-op job. So I think that's really important to note.
Apart for the co-op, I have a last question. As I've told you in the admission process, it is mentioned if you want 1 or 3 co-op. 1 co-op means 6 months or 12 months?
1 co-op means 6 months. So if you're doing 3 of them, that totals 18 months of work. And that's available to international students as well. Their visa only allows them to work for 1 year paid in the United States. But many of our international students will do another co-op abroad. We have co-ops in, I think, 55 different countries right now, a few hundred students. So that allows them to still have paid opportunities and have a different cultural experience by going abroad while they're still in school too.
Kevin, I would like to know from you, what about the jobs on campus? So if I don't go in a co-op, I don't choose a co-op, there are possibilities of working on campus, and which are the maximum hours that I'm allowed as an international student, and what is the average for payment?
Yes. So yes, there are plenty of on-campus employment opportunities for students. They range from helping do research in a lab with a faculty member, to working the front desk of a residence hall, to being a tour guide in our office. We have a ton of different international students give tours of campus, and that's a great way to be paid. The rules are that it has to be through the university. So you have to actually be paid by Drexel or by any other university. You can't be paid by an external source on a student visa. The maximum that you can work is up to 20 hours per week. And I would say the average salary is probably in the $12 to $15 per hour range. I think that's a pretty safe bet. So again, that's not enough money to pay all of your expenses the entire time that you're here, but it's great to be able to help pay for your books, or to go out to dinner with friends, or to help pay for your flight home or back to campus if you go home for the holidays, things like that. But it should not be counted on as being a way to afford all of the expenses of your education.
Kevin, as we are discussing about the costs, I know that you offer as a university, you are offering financial aid for international students, but as well you are offering scholarships. So financial aid is based on the finances, like the income of the parents, and the scholarship is based on a special application that the student has to do. And we had several students who were selected for the global scholarship, and in this way they could afford not to pay. So they didn't pay tuition fee and room and board. And which is like an extraordinary help, because I know that your school, like the total cost of your school with tuition, room and board, is around $80,000 per year, and which is like 4 years. But this is just per year. So it's very important to understand what they should expect. What is the profile? What is the profile of the student that you are selecting for the global scholarship?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So like you mentioned, we offer both merit and need-based financial aid even to international students, which is a good thing for any student to ask of the universities that they're interested in, because not every US university does offer both to international students. The scholarship that you mentioned, which we've been honored to offer to a few students from Romania over the last few years, is the Drexel Global Scholars Program, which is a full tuition scholarship, and it can be stacked with other financial aid that you receive to help cover the full cost of attendance, which is really exciting. The idea of the scholarship is to create a community on campus with students from all over the world who want to come together and utilize their education to solve global problems. So to think about how the world works together to solve issues that are impacting all of us. So the sorts of students that we're looking for are students who think globally and can really understand what's happening in the world, and then want to be part of the solution to those problems. So through their essays, they're telling us how they've learned about the world through meeting people from around the world, or being involved in travel opportunities or study opportunities, or clubs and organizations like that allowed them to explore different parts of the world, and then explaining to us how they would use their education from Drexel to help solve some of the problems that the world is facing. We obviously care about academic performance as well, but we really want to bring together a group of students that have very diverse and different backgrounds to help us as a campus grow and become better, and in partnership with those students. So last year we offered 18 scholarships to students from 17 different countries. So almost every student was from a different place, which was really exciting. So it's a great way to bring people together as a group on our campus, to have a built-in group of friends from all over the world, and also a great way for students to be able to afford an education.
And Kevin, in order to keep my scholarship, there are certain requirements during the university studies?
Yes, so students must retain a minimum grade point average, so a minimum GPA of 2.0, which is typically not difficult for students, especially Romanian students who come from a very rigorous secondary school environment. Obviously, the transition to college is always going to be challenging, but I think students find a lot of success in the structure of our system because of the challenges and rigors of the Romanian system. But yes, so they certainly need to maintain a minimum academic standard to make sure that they're doing well in their classes.
And it's 2.0 out of 5 or of 4?
Out of 4. So it's basically a C plus average on a ABC. Yeah.
Like 7 in Romania. Okay.
Yeah, about 7 in Romania. That's exactly right.
Okay. Then it's doable. It's achievable. I would like to ask you as well about the extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So we discussed about the financial aid. So we understand that you offer the financial aid, you have the scholarships, and about extracurricular activities, because you told me at the beginning that one of the reasons of the particularity, actually one of the particularity that the American system has, is this extracurricular activities involvement that they have the possibility while they are students. They are students there. So what can you tell me about these extracurriculars? Like they are coming, I'm coming now in your campus. So what I can do there? What kind of activities there are? There are compulsory activities, as I know from other universities.
Yeah, so Drexel, like many other universities, offers tons of ways for students to get involved in things outside of the classroom. We currently have almost 400 unique clubs and organizations. Yeah, it's a lot, and those range from large clubs and organizations like fraternities and sororities, which is another unique part of the U.S. Education system, to clubs built around your academic learning. So, for example, the Society for Women Engineers, which is a huge international organization, was actually founded on Drexel's campus, so it started here. And so that's an opportunity to have a club that's built around your academic learning as well. But it also might just be something that you like to do. One club that was started in the pandemic was the French Cheese Club. All they do is eat French cheese. That's their whole thing. They eat French cheese and talk about it. So sometimes your club might be built on helping you get a job. Sometimes it's just about cheese, and that's okay. Either one of them is totally fine. We also have tons of sports as well. So for many students, they might be interested in staying involved in sports when they come to the US for school, even not at a competitive level, but you can play club sports, which is competition against other universities, but not at the Division I level, or intramural sports where you're just playing with your friends on campus as well. So that's definitely something that a lot of students stay involved in too.
So I understand that there are plenty of activities for everybody. And why someone should do this kind of activities?
I think there's a few reasons why. One, It helps students meet people that they would not have normally met. They get to make friendships and build relationships with people from different backgrounds and different academic experiences. Number two, it helps you decompress from school. University is really challenging. There's a lot going on. It's very stressful. So having clubs and activities really helps you decompress and just have some fun while you're in school, because that's important too. But then number three, it also helps you build a CV of experience. It shows potential employers or maybe graduate schools that you might be considering that you are a well-rounded person that has many different life experiences and passions, and shows leadership and desire to be engaged in things that are not just required for you by your university. So that's another huge piece too, is it also can benefit you professionally.
And I will add also the fact, as you told me from the beginning, the fact that going in all these activities is going to help you to become your best version, because you are going to develop communication skills or whatever you need in order to step out from your comfort zone. So this is like extraordinary, it's very useful in your life. So university is not about having good grades, it's also about like living the life and becoming the best in several areas of your life. It was a very nice meeting with you and very interesting with you. I just want to mention that earlier I saw one of the students, our students that just graduated from the computing science, Anka Scarlat, and I think she had like with the honor degree or something from the university. The last question would be, what should do an international student to maximize his university experience when he's arriving to your school?
Yeah, I think there's really two things that stand out to me about how international students in particular succeed when they reach US universities. The first one is a willingness to try new things. Coming to the US for school is really hard. It takes a lot of effort and money and time to do that. So when you get here, you better be ready to try new stuff, because it took a lot of time and energy for you and your family to get you to the point where you can reach a college campus in the US. So have an open mind, be ready to try and learn new things that might challenge you or force you out of your comfort zone, just like you just said. And I think international students have already done that by reaching the US, right? They are not going 5 minutes down the road to the University of Bucharest for school. They are flying all across the world to study. And that's already a challenge. So you've already taken that first step of challenging yourself in that way. So you might as well make friends, try new things, travel, try new foods, and do all of the things that coming to a US university allows. Number two, another great way to succeed is to really own your history and your culture. Bring with you all of the things that your family, your country, your schooling have instilled in you, because that's why US universities want international students to come, because your life experiences benefit our campus just as much as our campus and our university can benefit you. So come with you as your natural self, as somebody willing to learn and try new things. And that's going to allow you to be super successful no matter where you go to school. Obviously, you should do your homework and stuff like that. But by being your most authentic self and being willing to try new things and challenge yourself, you're going to be able to be successful and maybe, like Anka, be a graduation speaker at Drexel one day, which is an incredible accomplishment. I know Leah and I, we've discussed a handful of Romanian students over the years who have found such success here at Drexel, because I think it's a place that challenges them in the right ways. And many universities can do that for students all across the US and all across the world. And I just encourage students to really just be themselves and be open for a challenge when they reach a US campus, because it's going to be hard, but it's going to be incredibly rewarding at the same time.
Thank you very much for your answer. So, if you are now a student and you are looking, you are watching this video, then the conclusion is that you need to challenge yourself to get out from your comfort zone and to try several things, extracurriculars, academics, projects, in order to become the best version of yourself, and as well to be authentic, and in this way, like to, as you told us, like to bring your culture and your history within the campus. Kevin, it was a real pleasure to work today with you, to have this meeting with you today. You are a treasure, actually. You are a treasure for very good information about the university. And as far as I remember, you are an alumni of the Drexel, right?
I am actually now a twice alumni because I just finished my MBA last week. So I'm what we call a double dragon, which is our mascot. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, you are. I can see that you are very well prepared, and you know, like a lot of stuff from the campus as well. When you came to Romania and we discussed, it was like the same. You have like a lot of information, and we'll see from our students what are their interests, and to reach you for another episode, depending on what are their questions. I want to mention that I don't know if I've told you in an email, but I've been this year to get a certification, like to learn more about how to increase the effective communication between teachers and students, because I want to do this further in Romania. And I met one of your colleagues. It's someone from the board, I think. She was interested to do this for Drexel. So I was like, wow. So these people, they are doing this. Like it was not like a cheap course or something. So airport and everything. I was like very impressed about the school. So Drexel, it's a very good choice, and all the students that we had and that they already graduated, we have like 99% of them. They have like excellent jobs now, and they are already they remained. Part of them remained in the US, or part in Europe. But we have very good feedback about the school. Kevin, thank you very much for being today with us. And we'll see you in the next episode. And dragilor, vă mulțumesc că ați venit astăzi alături de noi. Universitatea Drexel este una specială, cum am spus, este printre singurele care are aceste coopuri de care vă spuneam, și așa cum a menționat Kevin, și prețul pe care voi îl puteți câștiga până la $20.000 pe an, pentru 6 luni. Așadar, e o variantă interesantă dacă luați în calcul toate opțiunile pe care le-am menționat. See you later. Thank you, Kevin. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.